So when we last left the DR10, we were running this right here, a 2.5 at 65 miles per hour. I only ran the car a few more times that season before we put it away for the breakout chassis. Well, now I've spent a lot of time getting everything cleaned up, dialed in, and it's almost ready to go. We've got a lot of rain outside right now, and it's not going to get colder, hopefully. So that will clear all the salt off. I think we're going to be able to get it out this week. I'm Chad, this is the Dorky and 40 RC channel, and we are going to make you faster today. Now the car itself, it did not run that bad. I mean, we were talking fresh off the bench in the build table, and that was the run. And the combination of being able to steer with the Sanwa and the DR10's power to control everything, we were able to put in a couple good licks, as you can see here. Problem is, I really couldn't do much else with that car because of the broken wheelie bar. And now that I have put some time into it, I'm looking at it on the bench here, I think that the Brisket chassis itself just might have a few problems. And to say that it's a problem with this particular chassis is probably a bad thing to say. It's just a problem with the entire setup. See, you know, when you're using things like shock spacers and not threaded shocks, and you don't have all of these tuning options available to you, it really can just make life a lot more difficult. Now, we'll take a look later on at a chassis from 5-Star that I think could solve some of these issues, but we have to figure out, are we going to call it quits on the DR10 one of these days? Now, I still want to run the DR10 for you guys. I love having a second platform. If I had the money and I had the time and effort, then I would probably go ahead and build out a second Outlaw car, but it's hard enough keeping one running. Speaking of the breakout car, it is really calling me. I am really second guessing putting all that time and effort into it for a little bit more results. And I think we might be able to find a better use of our time than tearing down the entire car to save maybe 100 grams of weight. So stick around to see what I do with that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you are interested in No Prep Drag RC content. We got Amazon affiliate links down below if you feel like supporting the channel, and some other cool people down there that you might want to check out as well. Take a look at the current setup here of everything, and you can kind of see that I got a little rake going on here. So we've got the front a little bit lower than the back. Take a look at the weights here real quick, and you can see that we're pretty much all balanced out. After redoing the shocks and everything, I had to remove a couple of my old spacers and all that kind of stuff. And with the body, we're going to be pretty much hitting like around 2,500 grams, which is pretty good. The problem with this chassis though, and I've talked about this with the breakout car, is we already have a pretty severe angle of attack back here on the dog bones. And if we try to lower this thing down anymore, we are getting an even more incredible angle. And the downside of all this is that right now my wheelie bar is still sitting pretty high off of the back. This thing, we've got some things that are kind of out of whack here when it comes to the front. I redid everything. We've got the front limited, very, very good, you know, just around a 1/4 inch where I like it. We've got the McLaren all upgraded with the newest 7-stage launch software. We just did a rebind on that, show you how that goes. So there you go, we're all calibrated. The McLaren is ready to go. All I need to do is go in there and double check that tune, because I don't think I added any reverse power. I don't know why they don't put at least 20% in there for reverse. But everything's working good on that, and I think it's ready to go. So we're gonna get this baby out this week and run it a little bit. The problem with me and this DR10 is that with all of the metal and everything else that I've added to it, like, it's really hard to just like scrap it and let it go or sell it for, you know, pretty much pennies that I paid for it. So I really would like to keep it going, but at some point I do have to like call it quits and just quit spending money on it. Now, in a perfect world, it would be great to have another Breakout or an Apollo or something like that. But from what I've learned after last year, it's hard enough to like focus on one car and keeping one car going and testing and tuning it all the time. Even if you build an exact replica of that car, it will not run the same and everything will just be different. That's really why I'm just up for whatever with this car and just kind of having fun with it and just seeing how far we can push it, but working within its limitations. Now, There is one option, and I'm looking at this kit on here on 5-star that they come out with, so I'm looking at 5-star's kit here. It's the DR10 sweeper kit, and it's on pre-order right now and everything. And the biggest thing about this is that it's a little bit wider. It's probably going to be a little bit heavier than the Brisket chassis, so that isn't too bad. Some of the parts are interchangeable with my actual breakout car, maybe like the bumper, you know, not a whole lot. The biggest thing though that this thing has is it does come with a 3D printed transmission riser plate. And that is like the key to get this thing up, because, you know, we talked a lot about this in the past couple videos with the breakout car. If I want to try to lower the ride height, then I need to raise the transmission, all that kind of stuff, shocks, it all plays in together. This would solve that problem, but you know, it just comes down to whether or not I want to spend another $130 on the DR10 to keep it going. Sometimes when we would go out and practice, I mean, I wouldn't even take it half the time. I would just let it sit here and take the breakout car. And if something happened to it, I would do a repair there in the field. It shouldn't be too bad. Of course, you know, it ran last year. We saw what it did. So I don't think I made it any worse. If anything, we've made it actually better, and we can actually push the limits on it a little bit further with the weight reduction by running the shorty Trinity pack here versus the big 6400, and we could keep the weight really down on it and see how far we could actually push it if it'll hold. So we made some other changes to the car, of course, with the geometry, toe in the front and stuff like that. We've brought all that kind of stuff in, trying some things out with camber as well. And then one thing that I really want to do is just see how much better this lighter platform actually will do. When I was talking about the breakout car, you know, I want to put that thing on a diet, but I'm trying to find out what is actually reasonable as far as how much weight do we actually need to take off. You know, depending upon surfaces and everything, one car could do just as well in one place and then do bad in the next one. So there's all kinds of things to consider, but I'm going to be here locally, mostly on Ohio roads. So it's pretty much what I have to tune for. Got a lot of different little front tires here now, the new DEs and everything. So we'll be checking those out. Maybe we'll throw those up on the car. Hopefully everything works out and we can get out there tomorrow. That would just be awesome. And we'll, of course, videotape the whole thing and bring you guys along for the ride through any kind of changes and stuff that we're doing with the car. We'll see how it goes. I have mixed feelings about this. I'm not expecting to hit it out of the park on the first try, obviously, for the first runs of the season. But I just would have a little bit better feeling if it was sitting a little bit stronger. It looks like it's got a few things that could kind of go wrong real quick. But anyway, guys, that is going to do it. Thank you very much for stopping by the channel today. Again, please like the video and subscribe if you got any useful content out of this at all. We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.